I think that Sexy Devil Sally is my favorite. There we go. I'm just going to say it. Hello and welcome back to another music video sketchbook challenge. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jeff. I'm an artist, illustrator, and maker. Today I'll be using the My Kink is Karma music video from Chappell Roan as inspiration for some illustrations. Chappell Roan's new album, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, has been on repeat for probably the last week and a half in the studio, when I'm at home, when I'm in the gym. I just started listening and I just haven't turned it off. I'm very quickly falling in love with her and everything about her, and I'm pretty excited I think she's coming for a tour real soon, so I'm definitely going to be getting tickets to that. But yeah, so I just thought I would pick one of her music videos and use that as inspiration. As always, I have my iPad connected to my computer, so I'm just going to be playing the music video, and then as I find something that is interesting that I want to draw, I'll just stop the music video and we'll just do that until I get to the very end and see what I come up with. I have also put the time codes in the show notes below, and I've started to break down all the different parts of this drawing process a lot more, so you can actually skip through to when I'm drawing all the prompts in this first stage, and yeah, just making it a little bit easier for you to click through and jump through in case that's something that you want to do. Otherwise, I'm just going to get started and we'll see what we come up with. I can already tell that I'm going to want to draw her hair at some point. Just waiting for a better frame. Hopefully there's a bit more of a close-up. The hair clips are very nostalgic. Okay, that's great. I really love the idea that the legs, or the person, like the person that she's hugging, is potentially we could do in like a larger scale. So okay, so for this one, I really love the composition of the leg, and I think we could really play with scale and maybe like, big friendly giant kind of vibes. All right, let's get a new layer and keep on going. Okay, this imagery is kind of nice, holding the shell. This is fine, but let's do another one.
Watching you.
This makeup. Okay, really great visuals, sexy clown, striptease, maybe. I'm just gonna watch a little bit more and hopefully I'll find the right spot where I want to stop it. I'm just going to do like the two faces, not really look closely at the composition of how they're sitting on each other and straddling, but just the idea of like two clowns looking at each other with like similar makeup, looking as if they want to kiss. Okay, so this one's kind of done. Nice idea. I think I kind of like the guy's face more than the girl's, but let's just keep on going. I love this imagery of the bathtub or the spa. So I think I might just do a really simple idea of like a figure floating in some kind of water with these like rubber duckies around it. This one I quite like. I think it's my favorite so far. All right, let's just keep on going. Okay, that's a good frame for maybe the kissing. I won't draw anything, but I think I could go back to that if I want to do the clowns kissing thing. The addition of the horns is great, so I think if I did the devil head on a bigger scale coming out of the heart, that could be cool. All right, next one. What a great pose. I love this one. Obviously the proportions of the body aren't right, but I think making it a really exaggerated, gangly, alien looking character could be really cool. And the lingerie creates really lovely shapes as well. So yeah, love it. All right, next one. What about a cake? Everything so far has been very demon, heart, devil related, but I mean, these cakes are very much on trend at the moment. These like almost like tacky looking cakes. So what if I did like, what would a Jeff tacky cake look like?
It's hard when you know that you're caught and you're getting pissed off. It's getting me off. It's hard. It's hard. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. People say I'm jealous, but my kink is watching you.
I think just a portrait of a clown like this could be really fun. Look at me doing a more realistic portrait. All right, there's a little bit left. That's a great shot for a portrait. All right, so that was a really great music video. Obviously, the costuming and theming was very similar across the whole music video, so I guess a lot of my concepts have a really similar connection of this whole devil angel kind of thing. So for this next step, I think I'm going to start with sexy demons, and then if that doesn't work, I might actually go on to bathtub. Yeah, I don't know, or it's either bathtub or realistic clown face, one of those two. But yeah, all right, I'm going to go off and do some drawing, and I'll be back with a bit of a breakdown of what I've come up with. So see you soon. I know I said I was just going to focus on one artwork, but I lied and I went and did some sketches of multiple ideas. So let's get into it. The first one I'm going to go through is the clown face. So I'm just looking at the photos as well on my computer just here. So if you notice that I am looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the images as like a reminder. So first of all, I went in with that warp tool, which is what I always do, and just played around with the face, changing the proportions up. I really like using this as a starting point now. It's become like my go-to. When I was doing this, I really didn't want the clown face to turn into something that was like a typical clown or like referential from something else that I've seen, like, the Joker or some kind of character like that. So I think the warp tool allowed me to play around with the shapes without actually having to invest too much too soon. The next thing was to look at the face details. I really wanted the clown makeup to cover the whole face and almost be like blobs over the face that fills it all completely. And I guess I approached it as like, what would a Jeff clown look like? So adding in the little stripes under the eyes and above the eyes was really turning into more of like an animal type of character. A little bit BoJack Horseman, which is something that has happened quite a lot of late in my illustrations when I'm drawing these sort of hybrid human animal creatures. So not angry at that. It also allows the character to sort of blur the lines between a like adult character and like a child illustration, because there's a cuteness to it, but then there's also like a more human element as well. I don't know what it is, but I just like that sort of balance. Next, I went on to the ears and trying to work out how to do interesting shaped ears, trial something new. Earrings is always like a go-to for me now. I love putting earrings and tattoos and piercings and things like that on creatures and characters because I think it really personifies them and brings them to life, because then you think, oh, that thing went to a tattoo parlor and got a tattoo, or went to somewhere and got a piercing done on like another day. So it really brings the character to life in a fun way and also gives them personality. The next thing was the hair, which I was putting off for a long time because I really didn't know what to do. I did not want to do like a clown wig. I just didn't want to do it. So it turned into like this mullet-esque kind of hairdo, which was fine. And then I put a bull ring in its nose and almost turned it into like a bit more of an edgier, which I hate that word, but yeah, an edgier character. And then finally it was adding the clothes around it. So not wanting to put it into a clown outfit, wanting to reference back to the music video of it being almost like a human character, everyday clothes, but like clown makeup. And then I wanted to push it that little bit further, and it looked like it was talking to something on its shoulder. So I went to the idea of an angel and a devil sitting on your shoulder, but changed it to being hearts because that again referenced the imagery in the music video. Really happy where this ended up. It's just going to sit here. I don't necessarily see it going anywhere else, but yeah, for a first little like warm up, I think it was pretty good. Okay, next was the leg hugging character. And with the warp tool, I wanted to exaggerate all the limbs and just make it a little bit more like gangly. I just wanted to make sure that I got the composition of her kneeling down correct, and so it looked realistic. Next was working on the big leg, and I'm definitely not sold on it as being a leg. I think it could be something else. Maybe it's the fact that it's only one leg, not two. I don't know, but I at least just like fleshed it out and turned it into being a leg with a shoe and like clothing on, so it looks human in some way. Next was all the hair and the face detail. This was probably the most crucial part of getting right, because otherwise the rest of it doesn't matter as much. I wanted to add the butterflies in her hair to sort of reference the butterfly hair clips, which I think was really cute. And then it was the jewelry and tattoos again, which I really love. Composition wise, I just wanted to also frame it in a box. I think without that, it really loses the idea of this giant character being in the frame. So creating that frame to the image really helps. And then going back and adding in the ground around it, the grass and the flower really helps to ground the characters as well and sort of bring it to life that they're in our world. I'm really happy with where it ended. It looks really nice. I could push a little bit more, but I'm just not going to right now. Next is the sexy demons character in a really fun pose. I know originally I liked the fact that the leg was like straight up in the air, but I decided I wanted to rework that to be a little bit more realistic, I guess. So just bending the knees a little bit more and moving the hips, and also just warping the head. So it was a little bit more like alien bulbous on the top as well. Then I wanted to go in with the face and the head and just really work it out to being an alien-esque kind of thing. So putting the horns on, like I said, the sort of crease down the center of the head makes it feel a little bit more alien. The hearts on the cheeks were a nice little touch back to the music video. And then also the squiggly around the eyes I really liked, as well as like the eyelids. So yeah, pretty happy with how like the face turned out. Then moving on to the body, I wanted to keep it really angular and pointy. So at the shoulders and the elbows and the fingertips, I wanted to make sure they were kind of a little bit more sharp. Making it more of like claw fingers, I thought was also really good for an alien-esque character. And then moving on to the clothing, this was where I could really have some fun in exaggerating and playing around with the shapes. So whether it was the little like panty leg parts through to the stockings and the heels with the bra, playing around with the contrast of fabrics and doing like different textures. And a play between all of those really helps to make it all really interesting to look at. I finally also wanted to put something around her neck, and I think putting Sally on like a necklace is a little bit funny, or like a lot funny. And again, now it's like, oh, this is Sally, and it gives you it personifies the character so much. So yeah, I love Sally, the sexy devil character. And then finally, the pool scene. So I really liked this tableau feel to it, as if it was a moment in time at a pool party. I definitely wanted to depict her as almost like this like alternative girl at a pool party that didn't really care about who was there, was just there to like do her own thing in the pool. I started with warp yet again, reshaped some things, just sort of played around with that. Then I moved in on the face, and I wanted to really reference the drag inspired makeup that is in the music video. And it also is like a new shape for me as well, playing around with sort of the more angular hooked eyebrows and eyelashes and things like that. The hair was much more of like just like a really rough updo, as if she was just like hair was down, but because she's going into the pool, she decided to pull it up and just make it almost like a messy updo. And then the arms, I just had to rework them because I didn't like the fact they were both up. I wanted her to feel a little bit more like chilled in the pool. So moving one to being almost like reclining on the side just made more sense as like a realistic pose. Then had to add the hearts onto the bikini top. I just really like that referencing. And then moving the whole composition to the bottom left of the frame as well, and putting in the ground level just made it feel a little bit more like a moment captured in time, because it's not like the center focus, it's more of just like a quick glimpse, and really happy with it. I think this one was potentially, at least in my own opinion, the most successful. And I decided that I would go off and color this one because, yeah, it was my favorite. So before I colored, I quickly threw in the legs that were surrounding the body up the top. So just like put her in the party scene. I then wanted to add color in a really quick, rough way. And so I decided to go out of my comfort zone and use a pencil pixel brush. I don't normally use pixel, do pixel illustrations. I prefer vector. I really like that vector is more clean, crisp lines, and then it can be you can change the size as much as you like without it pixelating. but I thought pixel, just experiment, Jeff. So I used the pencil brush. I added in the green background because I think it's really an easy way to jump in quickly, is to remove the blank white canvas feel. So green background, I knew I was going to try and choose greenish tones for the whole artwork as well. So starting with her body, making her sort of green makes her non-human-esque, I guess, and playing off the red as well of all the outfits that I wanted that were from the music video, so they sort of worked together well. Then doing all the makeup, the nails, the jewelry, really just like keeping a minimal color palette but building a realistic outfit that someone would potentially wear. I then wanted to play around with shadows because I was really feeling the pencil brush. It was just keeping me really free and rough, and I was just enjoying it. So I thought, let's keep on going, make the shadows. So I made it look like as if the shadow was coming over her back shoulder. Next was the pool. So obviously adding the color to the pool, the tiles, the ground around it, just really building up the environment, adding in the shadow as well. And then finally it was putting the color into the legs of the characters behind. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary, just like fill them in basic tones so they didn't take attention away from her. And then this was it. So because I'd drawn these three characters, the leg hugging, the sexy devil, and then this pool character, I wanted to use this same color palette and see if I could do the other two in the same and just sort of see what that looked like in terms of like a character study. So this is the reveal of what they look like, and it's really interesting how just by using the same color palette, and I'm going to now refer to them all as Sally because of the Sally necklace. They are just all Sally in different universes. It's really interesting how just by keeping the same color palette, it sort of connects them all up, and it makes me think of when different artists draw iconic characters like Homer or Sailor Moon or Mickey Mouse, and it's like, how much of a suggestion of that character do you really need to give in order for someone to recognize who it is or what it's referencing? And I think that could be something that's really fun to explore more. I mean, within my work, I've got elements that are recognizably me. Usually it's like things like the flower or even the way I draw my eyes. But it's like, how much of that do I really need to give to my audience in order for them to know that it's my work? It's something that I think even like musicians use in terms of their styling or their eras in performances, to being like, what will make it recognizably me in this era or make me stand out from other people, which I think Chappell Roan is really starting to do, is to like find their styling and their niche, which is great, makes them memorable. And yeah, so that's into the video. And if there's anything that you would like to see me draw, if there's a music video you think you would like to see me use as inspiration, let me know in the comments, or you can also hit me up on social media. Otherwise, I'm gonna love you and leave you and see you in the next video, and bye.